I just told the story about Dan and how I met Dan and became his head of sales. Now I want to tell you how I got into real estate, because it's kind of a similar story. Maybe not, maybe a little similar. So I was working with Dan. I'd gone through COVID, okay? And like, humble brag here, I was making more money than I had ever made. And truthfully, I was scared because I didn't know what to do with this. Like, I had money in the bank that I'd never seen before, and I was terrified that I would lose it. I was terrified. I was taking vacations. I was like, going out to fancy dinners, bought myself a brand new car, all these things. And I had this moment of realization that, like, holy shit, what if this ended? This could end. And I was scared. And I had a conversation with Dan. I said, dude, what do I do with this? This is more than I've ever had. What do I do? And he said, stocks or real estate. Excuse me, stocks or real estate. And I remember when I was in my early 20s, I went through what's called the Carleton Sheets course. So any of my OG real estate peeps might know who Carleton Sheets is. He taught you how to buy off-market deals. And I went through that course years and years ago, and it was something I was always interested in. And for me, it's like I had more foundational knowledge on real estate than I did stocks. So I said, you know what? That sounds like a good idea. Let's buy some real estate. And I said, well, Dan, what do I do next? And best advice he gave me, there's a video that he's talked about this on some podcasts, but he said, go find local mentors. Go find people in the Bangor area that are doing exactly what you want to do. So I think I put a post out on Facebook. I'd love to go find that post sometime. It's like, who in my friends network owns real estate that I could talk to, pick their brains. And some people tagged Chris Pepin being one, and Parker Dresser being another. Two of my mentors that I have today, that I still go to with big problems, because I love their perspective on it. So I started reaching out and saying, can I take you to lunch? Please, let me pick your brain. And I would do that. So finally, I get a hold of these guys. I was in sales, so I know, it's called polite persistence. You just have to keep bugging people in a very nice, cordial way to get what you want. Closed mouth doesn't get fed. So I ended up bugging both of them. Pepin was a little harder to crack. He was like, I'm too busy for you. Haha, I hope you're watching this, Pepin. I got in, baby. But Parker was a little bit easier to get to take to lunch, and he was just so open about wanting to share everything that he had learned in his journey. And I did a couple of things during those mentor meetups. One, I would always take some notes and walk away with 1 to 3 big takeaways that I would tell them. Hey, these are the big 3 things that I learned from you today. So it kind of reinforced maybe them wanting to continue to teach me. And then the other thing I did is I kept texting, I kept messaging, and then when things came back around, a couple of weeks or a month would go by, and I would say, hey, can I take you out to lunch again? I would come back and I would tell them how I implemented the thing that they taught me the time before. So it kind of reinforced this loop of I'm a good teacher, or I'm a good learner, and what you tell me, the time you spend with me, is not wasted time. Anyway, that's how I got into it, and I think I shortcutted the path. I built a pretty substantial real estate portfolio in 5 years. It's because I put myself around the people who were doing the things that I wanted to do, and I was kind of relentless about it. So if you're a little upset about where you are today in your life, I want you to realize the answer is not in Netflix. It's not in doom scrolling. There are people out there who've done what you want to do. You need to put yourself in their path. That's how you're going to achieve great things. If not, just be happy with what you have, because ultimately the only reason we're trying to chase all this success is because we think it's going to make us happier. It doesn't. You got to be happy already. If you're not happy without money or the body or the relationship, you're not going to be happy with the money, the body, the relationship. Fix yourself first. shine your light bright, and the world will respond.